This topic is going to come in little pieces. So this video is going to seem very sporadic. But it's because these things are hard to talk about. When you realize that you had a good life as a kid, you had everything you needed. You never moved homes, you never moved churches, you never moved schools. Both parents worked, good jobs. But the downfall was that you didn't see them much. And when you did see them, you never knew what their mood was going to be. It was very sporadic, very volatile. They were never emotionally there. So you would bury yourself in books, or you would bury yourself in... You would just bury yourself. Therefore, not knowing yourself. Not knowing that you could say something. Just that you always had to do what you were told. Nothing that you were ever told to do was a bad thing. Keep studying, clean, like vacuum, everyone had their own chore. Pick up your room, play outside. But it was always to-dos. There was never, let's sit down and talk. There was never, connection. You could see sympathy. But only from one parent. The other parent was just always a workhorse. Always outside, fixing a car, or taking care of the lawn, or in the office. We were always provided for. Never knowing what it felt like to be proud of yourself. Just knowing that when your mom or your dad smiled or clapped or said good job, that was the best feeling in the world. So performance. And anxiety. And feeling like a failure. Because if you didn't do it right, if you didn't get the good job and the smile and the clap, it just felt like you weren't enough. The whole Why are you getting a D on your report card? Look down the nose. Conversation just made you feel like a failure. All about performance. All about performance. And then you wonder when you're an adult why you never measure up. Why it's hard to confide in people. Why seeing a counselor is a bad thing. Because there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with you. We don't see counselors. We're fine. Oh, you're in pain? It's okay. Just suck it up. You'll be fine. We don't need to see a doctor. Just keep going. I did. I went to college. I had a scholarship. I had a music scholarship. Because I was really freaking good. I was amazing. And when you're really, really good at something, then you should apply for a scholarship for it. And you should keep doing it the rest of your life. At least that's what I was told. That was the assumption. But when you're used to people telling you what to do, and you don't know what you like or what you want to do, or who you are, and then you go to college, and you're expected to continue to perform, but no one's there to tell you what to do, you lose track. You don't do what you're supposed to do because no one told you to do it. There's no bell going off for every class change. There's no one telling you, don't be friends with these people. There's no one telling you, you need to do this class, you need to do this, you need to do this. There's no one saying it's study hall time and giving you your assignments. And you just keep floundering and searching and screwing up. Yeah, I went to college for less than a year. I didn't perform. Not even good enough for myself, because I don't know who myself is. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I wasn't told what to do. I was given a schedule. I was given a dorm room. And I guess I was assumed to do it on my own. When you're autistic, you don't know you're autistic. No one thinks, oh, she's a little different, maybe we should check this out. No, she's just a little different, she'll be fine. You're really good at something. You're told you should do it forever. You've always followed the rules. Someone else has always been in charge. No one told you how to get a job. They teach you how to write a resume, but then what do you do? Okay, now I have a piece of paper with all my experience on it. Cool. I stick it in a file? They tell you what kind of person to look for in a mate. They tell you that you're old enough to look for someone. They tell you not to have sex before you're married. They don't say anything else about other types of intimacy. They tell you how the sex organs work. What are you supposed to do? I am a highly functioning autistic female. I was born in the 80s. I was born with a physical condition that makes me fall apart. And I did not know this until I was in my 30s. I am a medical zebra. I am neurodiverse, and I always thought I was just broken and never fit in anywhere. I had to quit running track because my knees, so I didn't have an outlet. I was still a cheerleader. I was in band, I was in choir. I was an outcast. And I was friends with the other outcasts. And I still am. Because they're some of the best people. I knew how to plant a garden. I knew how to dig a hole and bury a pet. I knew how to use the oven. I knew how to clean basically anything, house chore wise. Looking back, I feel like a lot of it had to do with the fact that my parents were always busy. And they didn't have time or energy to clean. Looking back, I can kind of understand that just because I'm a parent now. I feel like I was forced to grow up really quickly. And I was always very mature for my age anyways. Looking back now, knowing that I'm autistic, I was my mom's emotional support. She leaned on me like a best friend. We were always very emotionally connected. I feel like part of that whenever she had to vent, she would come to me because I was always a good listener. And I cared very deeply for my mother. I know that my dad did not come from the best background. He came from a background very similar to what I came from, with him being my dad. A good, solid, parents are married, grow up in church, grow up in school. Generational stuff. The emotional load. I am so sick of the word resilient. I never want to be referred to as resilient in my life. No. I'm not resilient. I'm a freaking fighter and a survivor. And I'm tired of it. This also means that I didn't have good role models in my own parents on how to parent or how to be an adult, how to be responsible correctly, how to handle finances, how to have a healthy relationship with another person, let alone an intimate partner. We never talked about that stuff. No one ever talked about sex and relationships and how far is too far, and it was left up to youth group and my private school to teach me everything. My parents didn't have personal conversations about the birds and the bees. Things that made me curious always got me in trouble, because looking back, everything I was always curious about ended up being something negative. So now when I'm curious about something, now when I want to try something or think, what if I do this? It's actually very anxiety provoking, because for one, I am curious about the thing. I want to do the thing, but I'm always thinking, I always have in the back of my mind that it's not going to turn out well. Some of the things that I've been curious about were different jobs. Like, what would it be like to be this or that? Or, and I've tried a few of those things, and very few of them have turned out well. So it's anxiety provoking. I've had to learn to be able to give myself permission to be curious, to try things, and because no one ever guided me through curiosities and trying new things, I don't have a very developed sense of how to question, how to think things through, how to be okay with things not working the way that I think they should. I think this has also been in a positive way, what has led me to not having expectations for things. In a negative way, that leads me to not being let down, because I've had so much letdown in the past. Now, if I already think that I'm going to be let down by it, if I already have a low expectation or no expectation, that's actually not a good thing. That's probably why I have a hard time feeling something about an event that happens, or if someone passes away, or watching TV, why I don't have emotional reactions to things on the TV. Because so many things that I've wanted to do growing up, like trying out different sensory, like what does this taste like, what does this feel like, what if I do this, what's going to happen. It was always just the majority of, not always, the majority of things that I tried or wanted to try as a kid were frowned upon, or I was told, why did you do that? Why would you think that way? Just no, or slap hand, or freak out, or instead of redirecting me to try other things or be curious about other things, just always the negative connotation. So, yeah,